And Soba Lomasai from the great county of Narok, where NTV on the road is camping for this weekend. Amazing stories and amazing people to talk to and to talk about in this great county. Number 33.
We're coming to you live from the colorful, as you can see, Masai Mara University with the Narok County cultural dancers. Yes, they're keeping us good company, but first, the highlights.
Tonight, violence, bloodshed and more deaths in Marsabit as inter-community clashes escalate.
We want to appeal to His Excellency the President to kindly give attention to Marsabit now.
Also tonight, cries over a madrasa teacher accused of defiling his students and seemingly going around the system.
Out of this relationship, there has been a pregnancy, first reported, although not reported to the police in 2018, and then again this year, the same girl, the same victim, has again been impregnated.
Plus,
and I said,
beauty in beads and fortunes of farming. NTV is back on the road and kicks off the Soba edition in Narok County.
And return of political sycophancy, defection over dethroned bull.
We want to get into the presidency. Bye-bye, Fort Kenya.
And what the president makes of all this. All the loyalty songs and dances on Bullseye.
This is NTV Weekend Edition with Edmond, Nyabola and Olive Burrows.
Welcome to the broadcast. We also have the Narok County band and cultural dancers behind us. We'll be joining them in a short while. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Rafael Mbalo.
So why don't we get the heavy stuff out of the way before we get to the good stuff? Police have detained 2 suspects in the fake gold syndicate for 5 days. The 2, Joshua Gaya Anyaga and Evanson Joroge, were arrested at the KQ Cargo Center while ferrying fake gold in an Isuzu Canter from the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport.
Now, they were charged with obtaining 300 million Kenya shillings by false pretense by duping a foreign investor. This is the same amount of money from the fake gold syndicate that Jared Otieno and 15 others are in custody for. NTV's Mel Miendo begins our broadcast.
When detectives intercepted this Isuzu lorry registration number KCH 527T from the KQ Cargo Center at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport on Thursday afternoon, what they recovered was 26 metallic boxes of fake gold content. Another vehicle, a Nissan X-Trail registration number KBP 204C, was also intercepted. 2 suspects were arrested, Evanson Joroge and Joshua Anyanga. Friday morning, the 2 were brought before the Milimani Law Courts to answer to charges of conspiring to commit fraud and obtaining money by false pretense in positioning themselves as genuine dealers of gold. Interestingly, the money in question is 300 million shillings, similar to that which Jared Otieno and 15 others are in police custody for. In both cases, the complainant is identified as a South Asian foreign investor dealing with buying and selling gold. The prosecution asked to consolidate both cases and sought for more time to detain the 2 suspects pending further investigations. The court granted that the 2 remain in police custody at the Gigiri and Muthaiga police stations. The case will be mentioned on the 28th of May 2019. Before then, investigators will be organizing to call witnesses in an identification parade, hence the need to detain the suspects. The case involves complainants from Dubai, India and America, whom detectives are liaising with. Currently, mobile phones and computers belonging to the suspects, as well as video footage from CCTV surveillance cameras, are at the DCI's Cybercrime Unit for forensic examination. Business documents were also recovered and are set to be authenticated by the Registrar of Companies, Kenya Airways, Kenya Revenue Authority and the National Transport and Safety Authority, NTSA. A team of detectives is also investigating officials at the Kenya Airports Authority Mines and Geology Department who are said to be part of the fake gold cartel. At the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, dealers are reported to have leased warehouses where they take the buyers to show them confiscated gold. Detectives are seeking to question several persons of interest who have been mentioned in the ongoing probe, including lawyers, politicians and businessmen. Mel Miendo, NTV.
Now, troubles for Kiambu County Governor Ferdinand Waititu could be far from over following revelations that he could have colluded with members of County Assembly to pass a supplementary budget to cover misuse of funds in the county.
The controversy surrounds the governor's Car Sober initiative, which sources say is also part of investigations by the EACC. MCAs had on Wednesday rushed to pass the budget despite opposition from the public in what investigators now say was a move aimed at sanitizing funds used in the controversial Car Sober initiative, whose aim remains a subject of debate in the county.
NTV's Silas Apollo now reports.
The tea is out on anticipatory bail came as a relief for besieged Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu, but his troubles may not be over anytime soon. Waititu is facing accusations of abuse of office and using his office to do business with the county. Could be in more trouble for what sources say are his efforts to bulldoze members of the Kiambu County Assembly to pass a supplementary budget despite heavy opposition from the public. Sources say that the controversy in the budget is the decision by the MCS to award some 772 million shillings to the controversial Car Sober initiative launched by the governor, but whose objective and results still remain a mystery in the county. Some of its beneficiaries, as well as the source of financing, have never been made public to date. The Car Sober initiative, whose aim was to rehabilitate alcoholics in the county, has so far gobbled up some 700 million shillings, but with little outcome, according to its critics. Waititu has in the past been faced with questions of the source of the funding for the project, with the leaders in the county pointing an accusing finger at the governor for bypassing the assembly to launch the project. And his arrest on Thursday came just hours after the county assembly rushed and passed the supplementary budget in what was widely seen as a scheme to regularize the controversial expenditure in which millions of shillings are suspected to have been stolen. Waititu has also left the public guessing on the alleged involvement of his family members in theft of millions of shillings from the county coffers. The governor, who is accused of presiding over the alleged loss of close to 600 million shillings, has neither denied nor admitted claims that his daughters did business with the county. But in an interview with journalists after he was released from police custody on Thursday evening, Waititu said anybody is free to do business with the county government of Kiambu.
All my political opponents have been calling for my even sacking, thinking I can easily just be sacked.
Waititu was released after being granted 500,000 shillings anticipatory bail. Kiambu Principal Magistrate Brian Haimba ordered the governor to present himself alongside his lawyers to a police station. Silas Apollo, NTV.
Leaders from Marsabit County have called on President Uhuru Kenyatta to address the deteriorating security situation in the county, which has claimed several lives.
Now, this comes after 5 people died in 2 days as clashes between the Borana and Gabra communities. 3 people, including 2 women and a child, were killed in a dawn attack in Koso Banchale village, which left several others seriously injured.
Governor Mohamud Ali has urged the head of state to take urgent steps to mobilize security forces to end the lawlessness among warring communities in the vast county.
Residents of Marsabit County woke up to yet more worrying news. The chilling murder of 3 people at Kosobanchale village by unknown people. The attackers reportedly surrounded Boruharu Manyata early this morning before unleashing violence that left 2 women and a minor dead. The villagers were mainly Gabra. 5 people were seriously injured and are currently recuperating at Marsabit County Referral Hospital. The injured included an expectant mother, children and the elderly. The attack happened barely 24 hours after another attack in Quilta-Kwoma, Sako constituency, where 2 people from the Borana community were killed by gunmen who ambushed a homestead and stole nothing. The motive behind the attack is yet to be established.
DCI wameenda kwa hiyo area na officers bado wako kwa hiyo area, na iko majina ya watu ambayo tumeelezwa ni kama suspect.
The killings are seen as a red flag of possible unrest in an area that has in the past seen bloodshed on account of intercommunal conflicts.
Watu wa Marsabit wanamalizwa kwa ajili ya siasa. Kuna kitu kingine, and in this case both the master and the agent are political losers of 2017, and that is why Marsabit people have to pay dearly, because some people have to come back to power.
Huyu gavana ya Marsabit anafaa kuangaliwa na kuchunguzwa. Itasema mambo mingi. Gavana, mtu akikufa kwa jamii ya Gabra haongei. Jamii ya Borana mtu mmoja akikufa ndio wa kwanza kumobilize machineries ya serikali yote.
There has been counter-accusations between Gabra and Borana leaders over the conflict. Area leaders are now calling on the government to step in and address the rising cases of insecurity in the county.
We want to appeal to His Excellency the President to kindly give attention to Marsabit now. The situation is getting out of hand. There is no harmony anymore. There is serious tension.
Because from the nature of the conflict in that area, it's retaliatory, and once it starts, then it goes picking up.
CS Matiangi, we know how effective you are. Your voice has been heard everywhere. Your actions in the past have been felt everywhere and even now. Why is it that you are not doing anything for the people of Marsabit?
Na wanaweka patrol kila mahali, hata kama ni curfew, wahakikisha wameweka kila sehemu, kwa sababu saa hizi hali inaendelea kuwa mbaya zaidi.
In March 2019, the government conducted a mass disarmament of the National Police Reservists in the county.
We expected to see enhanced security on the ground, new police posts opened, maybe the likes of GSU deployed in those volatile areas, but nothing has changed.
Earlier this month, 11 people perished in a gruesome attack over a watering point dispute in Forole along the Kenya-Ethiopian border. Rozongoi, NTV.
Now, Kibra residents have decried the presence of a madrasa teacher who they accuse of defiling minors and corrupting the justice system to ensure he gets away with it.
The madrasa teacher faces incest and defilement charges over the latest incident that involves a 13-year-old minor. And with this incident too, residents are afraid that justice may be tinkered with. NTV's Charity Mwangi reports.
Her story is one among many that go unreported amongst the Nubian community in Kibra. For her security, we will call her Fatma. She's 13 and currently in protective custody after having allegedly been defiled by her guardian for years.
Ilikuwa tu ananiambia tu anataka nikue na ni bibi yake mdogo. Alafu nakata, lakini ananikujia na ukali. Sasa akinikujia na ukali inabidi tu nikubali. Ndo akinimaliza naenda kwa jirani naenda kumwambia hivi na hivi.
Out of this relationship there has been a pregnancy first reported, although not reported to the police, in 2018, and then again this year the same girl, the same victim, has again been impregnated.
Fatma was forced to procure an abortion last year, but a year later she is in the same predicament, pregnant and scared. The suspect is a husband to 2 women who, according to witnesses, were aware of what was happening to the minor.
Wanawake zake wanajua. Unaona? Juu akiambia wewe mama naishi na yeye anamwambia nitakupiga, nyamaza, funga mdomo. Ni kitu yenye imeendelea muda mrefu. Huyu mtoto saa yote ni kulia tu, ni kulia.
The 13-year-old's predicament represents one of the instances that Sheikh Suleiman has been successful. He has tried severally with other children living in the area.
Kwa upande wa majirani, yeye ana tabia tena ya kushikashika watoto matiti, sehemu nyeti za siri, na alafu ikisemekana hawataki, familia haitaki kusikia, inasemekana huyo mtu mnamuonea, hamumtakii mazuri.
Ni ukweli kabisa. Unaona ubabu ni mbaya. Nikamwambia ni mbaya, alifanya nini? Akaniambia mama, unajua hata mimi nilimuuma mkono. Nilishtuka mimi mwenyewe.
His standing in society creates opportunity and heightens the worry amongst parents.
Ni mwalimu kwa sababu sasa kama ni anafundisha haswa sana anafundisha tuitions nyumbani nini. Si ako karibu na mtoto. Ako karibu na mtoto sana.
Kitolewa tu anaweza fanyia mtoto mwingine ama hata mimi hata watoto wangu. Si nina watoto wasichana.
The ongoing investigation is threatened by those who for years have been protecting the sexual offender. Victims and witnesses have been threatened.
We've been informed of some interference that has been going on. We are alive and awake to those allegations. For us, we are going to try our best and see that this case is perfected and justice is done.
The Nubian community in Kibra has expressed concern about the charges. The perpetrator has been charged with incest despite not being related to the victim. Police say that this is a simple mistake that has been rectified.
Initially, from the statement of the child, she referred to the suspect as a grandfather. So what you're going to do is the normal housekeeping. We'll have the charge sheet redrafted. It has already been done so that we can have the proper charge.
The OCPD says that they take defilement cases seriously, inviting the community to always report similar cases to a designated gender desk. By reporting the incident and making it public, this community is sending a strong message that a crime is a crime, regardless of who commits it. Charity Mwangi, NTV.
Leaders from the North Rift have criticized the withdrawal of the National Police Reserve last week, which they termed as inappropriate and the cause of more than 20 people being killed in different areas.
Now, the leaders say the criminals behind the wave of insecurity are known and politically connected. They have accused those in charge of security of sleeping on the job.
The leaders, who included governors and senators, will be having a bigger meeting set for next week with the president to discuss the way forward.
The Ministry of Interior withdrew last week decided to disarm the NPR without any consultations. The leaders were never informed.
The problem is the persons who are now managing security have never known what is insecurity in their lives. They've just been moving from one boardroom to another, talking about niceties and catwalking. Let me tell you, what we are talking about here is about people's lives.
Now to a story among many that have been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Kitengela Medical Hospital is on the spot after a mother of 3 died before undergoing surgery at the facility on Thursday in unclear circumstances.
The woman was admitted on Sunday for a minor ankle injury and was scheduled for an operation.
The dejected family of the late Cecilia Wamboi are yet to come to terms with the passing on of their kin, who was booked for an operation on Thursday mid-morning. Her husband Peter Njuguna recalls that his wife was in a jovial mood as she waited to be wheeled into theatre and even breastfed her 1-year-old baby. The family maintains that the explanation given by the medics was not satisfactory, urging the relevant authority to investigate the incident, which attracted members of the public who thronged the hospital and kept vigil for several hours before moving the body to Machakos Level 5 Hospital mortuary. Agnes Wamboi, mother-in-law to the deceased, said that she sensed danger when she received a call from the hospital at the time when her daughter-in-law was supposed to be in theatre.
Daktari wa theatre akaja kutuelezea vile kumeenda. Sijui alikuwa amemuduga sindano, dawa ya theatre. Dawa ya theatre kawaida mnajua mtu akidugwa sindano kuulizwa maswali ndio wasikie kama inafanya kazi. Sasa badala ya hiyo walisema aliaja kama vile mtu wa kibaba. Ndio alianza hiyo. Sasa akatuambia hiyo ndio alianza kama kibaba. Sasa wakaona sasa waangalie kama ni kibaba. Wakasema wakamuongezea dawa nyingine. Sasa kumuongezea hiyo dawa nyingine hatukujua sasa vile ilikuwa.
The husband is questioning why there was a delay at first and how an operation on the leg could have caused death of his wife. Judith Cherono, NTV.
The High Court of Kenya has ruled against a decriminalization of same-sex relationships.
The decision maintains the colonial-era law which classified gay sex punishable with up to 14 years in prison. NTV's Helen Wanjohi has more details.
The ruling made by Judges Roslyn Aburili, Chacha Mwita and John Mativo said that the Kenyan Constitution only recognizes marriage between members of different sex. The ruling comes as a huge blow to the National Gay and Lesbian Human Rights Commission, who had moved to court arguing that the Constitution violates their rights, as every person is said to be equal before the law. The Kenyan government, backed by powerful Christian groups, is opposed to scrapping the ban on gay sex, having argued during court hearings last year that it will lead to same-sex marriage.
It is in our heart to thank the court for having pronounced this, and it has happened for the first time, and Kenya should be in a frenzy mood now to thank God. And all the churches, all the religious bodies, including the Muslims and the Hindus, should come out to say thanks be to God.
The law against gay sex in Kenya, sections 162 and 165, was introduced during British rule more than 120 years ago. Helen Wanjohi, NTV.
20 minutes past the hour, and we are still live from the Masai Mara University with NTV Weekend Edition, live on the road in Narok County, County number 33, Soba Edition. And we have the Narok County Cultural Choir live with us. Let's take them as we go into the break. Don't go too far.
You're so lucky, your movement is so easy.
Oh, you've got me on my knees. Yeah, I'm begging, baby, please.
48 megapixel Oppo F11 Pro. Brilliant portrait in low light.
Sensitivity is a short, sharp pain that people experience when they have something hot or cold, getting to the nerve of the causing that discomfort.
so glad you stayed with us on NTV Weekend Edition, and we're coming to you live from the colorful, as you can tell, Masai Mara University. Now, we want to give you a few facts and figures of the county that's playing host to us this weekend. For example, let's start with, yes, it was named after a river that flows through the county, Enkare Narok, which in the Ma language means place of dark waters.
It is the 11th largest county by size, covering a landmass of 17,944 square kilometers. Narok County borders Tanzania to the south and 6 other counties, that is Kisii, Migori, Nyamira, Bomet, Nakuru and Kajiado. The population of Narok is just shy of 1.2 million people, comprising largely of the Ma community.
Other communities that dwell here are the Kipsigis, Kisii and Kikuyu communities. There are 6 sub-counties or constituencies in this county, namely Narok East, Narok West, Narok South, Narok North, Kilgoris and Emurua Dikir. County number 33 has 16% forest cover and is the largest wheat and barley producer in the country.
Another interesting fact is that it is also the home to the famed Masai Mara Game Reserve, which occupies over 1,500 square kilometers of land and hosts the 8th wonder of the world, the Wildebeest Migration.
Just to show you how thorough Edmond's research was, he tells us the park has over 95 animal species and 420 bird species.
Also, Narok County has over 1.4 million cows, 1.2 million sheep and 800,000 goats.
Wait, how certain are you of those figures? How did you go counting the cows? And
Very,
the goats
very certain. Someone has done that for me and gave us the figures as well. From the county, of course, they should know because every farmer should be able to report the heads of cattle.
Okay, so there will be plenty of Nyama Choma tonight.
A lot of it. A lot of it.
But...
Now, the Masai shawl, or Masai shuka as commonly known, has colored its space in the international fashion scene. Beaded chains, bells, bangles and headpieces have also put the Masai people on the global map as one of the few indigenous communities that have retained their culture.
Tracing the origin of the Maasai beadwork took NTV's Bridget Sangana to the Masai Mara National Reserve, where she spoke with the women behind the Ushanga initiative, which produces some of the colorful accessories that are the hallmark of the Ma culture.
Our reception at this manyata within the Masai Mara National Reserve was a classic display of Ma hospitality. The women were resplendent in their shukas and colorful beads, as is the norm in such a setup. This is Siena Women's Ushanga Initiative, a group of more than 500 women who earn their living from selling ornaments and accessories made from beads to tourists as they pass through the entrance of the Masai Mara National Reserve.
Kasi ya tourist ndio tukaona kuna benefit. Juu sisi hatulimi juu ya tunafuga wanyama. Sasa inatusaidia. Lakini sasa shida ni market. Tuko na shida ya biashara ya ushanga.
Long before the colorful trinkets and chains became valuable, they were used to identify the social status of members of the community in the traditional Maasai setup.
Unaweza kuwa unafaa, unamjua mtu kulingana na vile amefaa. Vile amefaa hii shuka ya Masai na vile amefaa ushanga. Utajua huyu ni msichana na utajua huyu ameolewa. Utajua pia huyu ni kijana. Kwa sababu tuna ushanga ambayo sisi hatuwezi faa tukiwa wamama.
Since its launch more than 2 years ago, the Ushanga initiative here in Narok has seen the establishment of more than 15 women cooperatives in an effort to improve on the quality of their products and fetch better prices in the market.
The 18 cooperatives, each was able to get a bidding machine that was around $300 each, which the county government of Narok bought for them. It has an advantage because it is used to bid, but it's more faster than when they use their hands to do the beadwork.
Tumetrainiwa sasa, tumekuwa na skills ya kutengeneza hii shanga. Nimeona imetusaidia kama wamama.
Najua zamani sisi wasichana wetu walikuwa wanapeanwa wakiwa wadogo. Saizi mama anaweza simamia msichana wake na anafundisha mpaka university.
From the beadwork alone, these women confess they have been able to fend for their households and even invest in other income-generating activities. For the Maasai people, the wearing of beadwork is a way of signifying one's status within this community. For the women who toil to ensure that these beadworks meet the standards of their clients, they do hope that the market will accept them eventually and in a sense help them to improve on their quality of life, a bead at a time. Bridget Ngana, NTV, Narok County.
In the interest of getting the day off, I'm sure you know which holiday is right around the corner. The national government has partnered with the county government of Narok to spruce up Narok town and its facilities ahead of Madaraka Day celebrations.
The governments are confident in the readiness for the 4th celebrations to be held outside of Nairobi County. The National Day Celebrations Committee, led by Interior Principal Secretary Karanja Kibicho, has been inspecting the preparations on the ground. This is the Narok Stadium, which will be hosting the Madaraka Day on 1st June. Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government, Karanja Kibicho, has been leading a team of the members of the Coordination Committee to inspect this specific venue, which is expected to host 30,000 people from different parts of the country and the continent at large. New seating spaces have been set up, new terraces, and of course the dais, which is expected to host the president, having been refurbished, and a lot more work done in that area ahead of the national celebrations.
We are satisfied that the team that has been making these preparations have done a superb job. The job is perfect. Narok now has a good stadium.
The county of Narok has been getting ready for the 56th Madaraka Day celebrations to be held for the 4th time outside Nairobi. Construction work, refurbishment of roads and other facilities earmarked for this specific event have been going on. We understand the national government has contributed 1.5 billion shillings towards the efforts of refurbishing the stadium and other facilities, including roads, a new office for the county commander, and a new state lodge, which will be hosting the state luncheon led by the head of state, President Uhuru Kenyatta, will be overseeing this event on the 1st of June.
Narok County is ready to receive all the guests to celebrate this year's Madaraka Day celebration. Of course, this also is one of the fruits of devolution.
We have been speaking to the residents of Narok County and specifically Narok Town, which will be hosting this event, and they are excited about the national function coming to their county. They are hoping to cash in big in terms of business. Narok County welcomes all the visitors coming here to celebrate the Madaraka Day on 1st of June. We have been joined on set by Nelson Mutiek, you said?
Yes.
He's supposed to give us Maasai names, and this is...
I hope it's a good one this time. Last time it was Njeru and Masharga. No, Njeru?
Wandia. Which meant Kolobas Monkey, just to remind us. But all right, Nelson, ukaribishe Masailand.
Okay, welcome to Narok County. We're giving you a name. You Olomnyak and Namayan.
Namayan.
Namayan. Namayan is blessings. And then Olomnyak is lucky.
Oh, thank you.
So
blessings.
Beautiful names.
Those are the names that we've decided as a group to welcome you to be part of the community living at Narok.
All right.
Welcome to Narok.
Thank you so much. So he's Olomunyak?
And you Namayan.
Namayan. So I am now Olive Kaleche, Burrows, Namayan.
Namayan blessings. Olomnyak is me here. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Nelson. Let's take a break. When we come back, it's business time with Dan Mwangi.
Me the value pack. Selena!
Wow, you do great value shopping.
Absolutely. I'm a champion at getting value.
Then you must have bought the Hair Pick Mini.
Why Mini? When I have this, they also clean my toilet.
Even after applying 10 times, they won't clean your toilet completely.
Impossible.
Challenge? Your cleaners can give complete cleaning even after applying 10 times. But Hair Pick Mini gives you complete cleaning at one go.
Wow!
Happy Mini, only 100 shillings.
The real value champion.
Just like you.
Yes, I'm done. Wow. You should take a picture. Let's see, post it. Oh, I have a like already. And an order. And an order. And another one. So many orders. Oh, yeah. Wow. Could add mine to that? 2. What's wrong? Those are so many orders now. Sina those are materials. Wait, I just started using Tala. You should try it out. Tala, what's Tala? Let me show you.
Everyone deserves an opportunity to write their own story. Tala gives you instant loans.
CEO, that's Sebastian Mikosz, will leave the airline at the end of the year. Mikosz, who is from Poland, joined the airline in May 2017 and will exit before the end of his contract. Now, during his tenure, he managed to have direct flights to New York launched, but has also been criticized by a section of staff for failing to be inclusive, especially in regard to key managerial positions, or decisions, I beg your pardon. Now, Mikosz has cited personal grounds as the reason for opting out before the end of his tenure. Before his appointment to KQ, he was the CEO of LOT Polish Airlines, where the turnaround he led there was hoped to be replicated at KQ. He leaves the airline still in the red, albeit with reduced losses than he found. In a staff email, Mikosz says that both the Capital Markets Authority, that's the CMA, and the Nairobi Securities Exchange are aware of his impending departure. The members of a task force that was formed by Kakamega Governor, that's Wycliffe Oparanya, to oversee the revival of the troubled Mumias Sugar Company has been sworn in. The 12-member task force is tasked with the exact reasons for the miller's collapse and design a revival plan. The swearing in went on amid criticism that the governor has overstepped his mandate, as Zacchaeus Mosame reports.
The members who were announced 2 days ago during Governor Oparanya's visit to the giant factory were sworn in a ceremony organized at the county headquarters.
The revival plan, in a nutshell.
The task force that is led by Kakamega Trade and Tourism County Executive Committee member Kasim Were says it is determined to identify the problems facing the miller and at the same time come up with ways of reviving the institution that has been unproductive for 6 years now.
We have had quite a number of task forces that have been able to do a bit of work in this particular area. So our work would be to look at what has been done before, what can we be able to do currently, and how do we progress from that particular point.
The task force will interview any person, including government officials, management of Mumias Sugar Company Limited, farmers or farm organizations, stakeholders in the wider Mumias region, or any other person the task force shall deem fit and necessary to interview, so that they can come up with the best report.
But Oparanya's move has been received with criticism, with those opposed to his announcement saying he went overboard.
Yeye unajua tangu achaguliwe kuwa chairman wa governors amebadilika akili. Siku hizi ni kama anaongea hata ni ajabu atasema ni Mungu.
And it's disturbing to find a whole governor purporting to say that he's taking over Mumias Sugar Company, and yet Mumias Sugar Company is a listed company on the National Stock Exchange.
Some company employees have, however, cheered the governor on, saying the only way to save Mumias is to hand it over to the county.
Wenzetu wa farmers tumekula nao mwara. Ingawa umelipwa, sisi hatumelipwa. Tukipenda kwa hiyo task reservation force uweke hiyo deni yetu.
Sasa tunadai Mumias 18 million ambazo tunataka Mumias ilipe. Ni sasa hiyo mashamba ukione vile imekaa hivyo inakaa hapo kwa sababu Mumias hailipi wafanyakazi kwa nuclear.
This is not the first time that the governor is appointing a task force to look into the operations of Mumias. During his first term, he set up a task force that came up with recommendations, but none of them were implemented. Questions have now been raised about if the report the current task force will come up with will also be implemented or left to gather dust on the shelves like the one before it. Zacchaeus Mosame, NTV, Kakamega.
If you're an Irish potato farmer, we're about to tell you what to do about something new. Now, Irish potato farmers will now be required to register at the county offices in their respective counties in a new policy directive that has been unveiled. The Ministry of Agriculture has developed the Crops Irish Potato Regulations of 2019, which also require that all marketing agents, dealers, processors, collection centers and storage facilities be registered with the county governments for purposes of data collection. In 2014, a similar regulation was thwarted when traders went to court to stop it. Kenya continues to rely heavily on imported sugar to meet the local demand as imports continue to grow by more than 100%. The Sugar Directorate has attributed this steep rise in imports to low table sugar imports in 2018 due to high stocks of cheap duty-free sugar in 2017. Data from the industry regulator indicates that a total of 36,786 tons of sugar were imported in the month of April alone, a 205% increase from the 12,071 tons that were imported in April 2018. Between January and April, sugar imports stood at 150,302 tons, a 144% increase from a similar period last year. Local production, on the other hand, dropped by 12% in April, causing the retail prices of sugar to increase to an average of 108 shillings per kilo. The Directorate has attributed the low production to reduced performance in Nzoia, Chemelil, South Nyanza and West Kenya sugar factories, as well as the continued closure of Mumias and Kwale International sugar companies. The Kitale-Endebess-Swam border road is set for completion at the end of 2020 and is expected to open up business in East Africa by connecting Kenya to Uganda and South Sudan. The 45-kilometer road is under construction at a cost of 5 billion shillings with funding from the African Development Bank. Once completed, Trans Nzoia hopes to grow its economy significantly as more traffic moves through the town. The road is also expected to ease traffic along the busy Malaba-Uganda road.
Because this is a road leading to Kipchoroa on the Uganda side, and as this is a major agricultural hub for this region, this road will allow not only transport but it will boost economic activities in the area. Several markets are being planned.
Ndipo wafanyabiashara wetu hapa watakuwa na njia ambayo inaenda kwa haraka sana. Mpaka wetu kutoka hapa ni kilomita karibu 25, kutoka Kitale ni 45. Sasa huu mpaka ukifunguliwa vizuri, watajenga hapo one-stop border post.
Now, as a motorist, you've probably found yourself in situations where the people fixing your car have ripped you off by either switching your good parts for faulty ones or inflating the cost of new fitted parts. Now, software developer Skytop Technologies is seeking to address this challenge and has launched an app that enables a motorist to diagnose the mechanical problems of the vehicle, what parts need changing, where to find spare parts, and at how much. The app, known as M-Carfix, also alerts a motorist when the vehicle is due for service. The app was officially launched yesterday at the KICC. Well, we'll see how that's going to play out, especially with a lot of rogue mechanics around and people who just don't know enough about their vehicles. Now, due to the near collapse of the sugar industry in Kenya and the uncertainty surrounding the maize sector, many farmers in the western part of the country are now diversifying to other crops. And as Gabriel Kudaka reports on Food Friday, sweet potato seems to be the preferred crop for farmers, and let's find out why.
For several years, the economy of the sugar belt in western parts of Kenya has largely depended on sugarcane farming. Sights and sounds of tractor engines filling the air as they delivered the cane to the miller were common in the sugar zones, a clear testimony of how dearly the cane was valued. But their dependence on the sugar industry is now threatened, with most sugar factories struggling to stay afloat for the last few years as they draw closer to insolvency due to debts and alleged mismanagement.
Nimelia vile wamekata mioyo yangu hii mwezi wa 10 mpaka saa hii sijapata kitu.
The impact of the collapsing sugar sector has stirred the need for farmers to become innovative and diversify to other crops. One such crop is sweet potato that farmers from Masese in Mumias East within Kakamega County have begun to embrace. The crop caught the attention of the farmers in 2014 following a series of sensitization sessions by a group of field officers. Josephine immediately decided to try her hands in the new venture.
Nikapanda kwanza eka moja, nikatoa hapo mbegu, nikauza mbegu. Mbegu niliuza makunia 87 kwa eka moja. Gunia moja nilikuwa nauza shilingi 850. Hiyo wakati ilikuwa 2015 mwezi wa 6.
After tasting the sweetness of the sweet potatoes in terms of returns, she decided to give it full attention.
2017 nilijaribu sasa kuona vile nimepata maarifa mengi kulingana na viazi. Nipande viazi kiasi, nisipande kidogo kwa sababu ninaona kuna pesa kwa viazi.
After mastering the market pattern of the crop, Josephine is now a commercial vine supplier, focusing on producing seeds and selling them to other farmers.
Niliuza gunia moja shilingi 850, nikauza magunia 169 times 850 zikawa 187,000. Nilipata kutu kwa mbegu. Mbegu ina faida hata kuliko viazi.
She attributes her success to following the trainings and instructions from the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization and Anglican Development Services Extension officers.
We trained the farmers on production of sweet potatoes, seed selection, and marketing, and bit of value addition.
She now encourages other farmers in her area to venture into potato farming.
Wapande mahindi, tena wapande viazi. Waone chenye na manufaa kuliko kingine ni kipi.
Sweet potatoes can mature between 3 to 6 months, depending on the variety. However, in the short rains, farmers prefer those maturing in 3 months, and in the long rains, those maturing in 6 months. In 2017, Kenya produced 1.15 million metric tons of sweet potato. Sweet potato farming is gaining popularity in most counties in Western region due to its rising demand and the good prices it fetches in the market. For instance, this parcel here goes for 100 shillings. And if all goes well, it might just become another large economy in the region. Gabriel Kudaka, NTV, Food Friday.
Gabriel Kudaka brings NTV business to a close, but a lot more business to be covered in the county of Narok. But for me, I'm done. And one more word, Serena. Mark Masai told me it means goodbye. So if Mark Masai got the Masai word wrong, we need to rethink our whole system of being interpreted for good night.
Dakika ya mwisho kipindi cha Nafuna.
for staying with us. We're coming to you live from the Masai Mara University. This is a Soba edition. Did I get it right?
Yes.
Yes, and this is county number 33. Now, as I fantasize about sinking my teeth into some Nyama Shoma, farmers in Narok County are asking the national government to scrap the 16% value-added tax on agrochemicals, which they say is among the factors driving the cost of production higher.
Now, our reporter Victor Kiprop visited the agriculturally endowed region and now unpacks the opportunities available for investment and challenges facing the farmers.
Narok County has distinguished itself as a large-scale producer of agricultural products, mainly wheat, barley, maize, potatoes, as well as dairy and beef farming. It is no surprise then that about 80% of households in the county earn their living from the agricultural sector.
We are the leading producers of wheat in the entire nation. We cultivate close to 15 to 17,000 hectares of wheat. When we talk about barley, it's around 15,000 hectares of land.
But despite the blessing of a productive land, farmers in the region argue that they are not deriving maximum value from their labor, as a barrage of taxes imposed by the government have driven the cost of production higher, even as prices remain stagnant.
Tukiongea na wewe saa hii, dawa ya ngano imepanda, imewekwa VAT 16%. Sasa hiyo inaua mkulima kabisa. Tukitengeneza vitu na bei kali use bei rahisi si itakuwa mbaya. Na sasa hiyo inamaliza wakulima warudi kabisa waende wafanye biashara nyingine kwa ajili unafanya kazi haina faida.
The higher cost of production, the farmers say, has rendered their produce less competitive against those from neighboring countries.
Maneno agusia chakula yetu. Serikali ya kutoka chakula kutoka nje. Anakuja sisi kukuja kuuza yetu. Anashinda mahali ya kuuza. Anakosa mahali ya kupitisha. Mpaka sisi anakuwa kabisa.
The challenges notwithstanding, the county government says it is engaging the national government to address the issues facing the farmers and is investing heavily in systems to add value to farmers' produce and put more money in their pockets.
Value addition is key. Milk, value addition. Beef, value addition. So we are still doing step by step. We have succeeded in dairy and maize. Now we are heading into wheat.
With at least 257,000 tons of maize and nearly half of the country's wheat produced here, Narok County claims its rightful position as part of the country's food basket. Victor Kiprop, NTV Business in the county of Narok.
Olive, I came here yesterday and I've had the opportunity to go around and see how wheat farming is big for this county. And they say they have the best quality wheat. They say, according to them, from all over the world.
Okay.
Yeah, and barley too.
Are they the biggest suppliers in the country?
Yes, definitely, yes. Now, time for one more thing before we get into the sports. You almost get the feeling that the competition to pick out who is the most loyal of them all as we race towards the 2022 political contest seems to have started in earnest. Many are doing it verbally, but Boni Halwale went further.
For the love of the deputy president, he has divorced again. A daring thing for the bullfighter who danced his way to the DP's heart. But some, like Aisha Jumwa, are belting out tunes, and not just any other tune, as Emmanuel Juma now reports on Bullseye.
Hakuna wa kufanana na Ruto. Hakuna wa kufanana na Ruto.
Psycho Fans Reloaded. This is the original song. And then there is the remix produced and directed by Aisha Juma. It is a comedy one could call pleasing a political benefactor. It is a case of arrogance and ignorance all rolled into one.
Wale wenzangu nataka niwaambie wakajifunze kusoma Biblia.
So, you who has read, what does the good book say?
Biblia inatuambia katika Methali 16:5. Kila aliyebeba kiburi Mungu atamshusha na ataadhibiwa.
Ndugu zangu, tujute dhambi zetu.
Amen. But the race is on and William is out fishing.
Na huyu mungwana wa kutoka na Baholo.
And just like that, Boni Khalwale got a new hat.
We want to get into the presidency. Bye-bye, Fort Kenya.
If a video were to be made on Boni's latest move, this is how it would look and perhaps sound like.
If anybody wants a divorce, it will be messy, it will be noisy, and it will not be easy.
And noisy and messy it is. I bet these are not the golden moments Weta ever dreamed of. First, your name is being read in the same sentence that also has the words fake gold. Then you lose your party's deputy all in the same week.
Fort Kenya is a good party for the community. It is good. It can make me governor. It will give us MP. It will give us MCS. But it will not make us president.
Sasa mimi si mtu wa kutoka na kuanza kubahatisha.
No kubahatisha where Weta is concerned. But hey, to strike a jackpot, once in a while, one has to take a chance, right?
It will be difficult. It will be noisy.
And the noise continues. Eti Baba Yao is not a thief. They sing and dance on. If not Baba Yao, who is the thief then? And look at them. One may have been asking, why am I here? While the other may have been thinking, why is he here? Ama namna gani, my friend? Do that again. Just to remind you, that's the kind of face which in Raila's language, it would mean one is telling you, "Ngo." True, Mr. President?
Na msisahau kuchukua huduma namba.
Escaping the real issue again. I'm asking about this. That deserves a very hearty salute, Mr. President. And here now is a new version of that Aisha Juma remix I promised you.
Hakuna wa kufanana na Ruto. Hakuna wa kufanana na Ruto.
He can only watch and revel in the work of his pockets.
Kiuno nacho.
Turning a person Nyangapua would describe as mwanamke mrefu mwenye kiuno nyigu na mdomo mkali into your sycophant is no mean achievement. And what's Babangina saying? Na wacheki.
Nakwambia upuzi ambao uko Kenya ni mwingi sana.
Emmanuel Juma, Bullseye, NTV.
And on that bullseye note, it's time to take another break as we head into the sports.
Yes, with Brian as well.
Would you like to dance?
A little bit.
All right, let's take it away, guys.
winners having been decided, focus now shifts to the relegation battle on what team will join up already relegated Mount Kenya United with 2 games to go. 16th placed Zoo FC will be in action on Sunday against 5th placed Kakamega Homeboys at the Kericho Green Stadium, while Vihiga United welcomes Western Stima at the Bukungu Stadium. But before then, Sony Sugar will host Nzoia Sugar at the Awendo Green Stadium. 15th placed Chemelil Sugar play Mathare United at the Chemelil Sports Complex, while Gor Mahia's league crowning moment sums up Saturday's action at the Kenyatta Stadium in Machakos. Meanwhile, Sofapaka striker Umaru Kasumba has become the second player after Enoch Agwanda to bag 2 Player of the Match awards in one season. This after the Ugandan forward who bagged the February award was fitted for his exemplary performance in April. And Kenya Sevens heads to the London Sevens of the World Rugby Sevens Series on Saturday with only 1 goal in mind to avoid relegation. As it stands, Shujaa must better Wales and Japan's performance in London and next weekend's Paris Sevens to avoid that fate. Kenya sits 13th with 26 points, 1 above Wales, while Japan occupies the red zone, the last and relegation spot, with 22 points. On Saturday, Kenya play Fiji at 12:36 p.m. Before taking on Samoa at 3:20 p.m. and France at 6:26. Back home, Cabras will want to revenge their Kenya Cup defeat to KCB last weekend when they face Impala in the Enterprise Cup final at the RFA grounds from 4 p.m. Staying with rugby, the Kenya Under-20 Rugby Squads preparation for the World Rugby Under-20 Trophy set for Brazil next month got a boost after Hako Industries sponsored the team to the tune of 2 million shillings. This coming in the back of Kenya Rugby Union's confirmation that the Sports Ministry is yet to provide the promised 20 million shillings as the team awaits the planned South Africa training camp ahead of the championship. Chipu is in Pool A alongside 2008 winners Uruguay, 2014 and 2017 champions Japan, and the winner in the Americas North qualifier pitting Canada and USA.
We are very exceptionally proud of the Chipu team because this is the first 15 side for us that has gotten to the World Cup, and that is the Junior World Cup. And for us as KRU, we're looking forward and we want to support them to attain the best results they can in July. And I hope that all of you out there who are able, you can help us support the team and have the team go to Brazil and represent Kenya.
In terms of our partnership with Kenya Rugby Union, this, as I've said, is just the beginning. We will be here this weekend for the Enterprise Cup. We will participate in the Elgon Cup in Kisumu, and later on in July, the 7th Circuit. So this is just but a small beginning, and we will continue with this journey. So we look forward to being part of the growth of the sport in this country. And on behalf of Hako, I wish to congratulate the Kenya Rugby Union.
And World Under-18 800 meter silver medalist Lydia Jeruto emerged victorious in the 5,000 meters race during the second leg of the Athletics Kenya track and field meet held at the Mumias Sports Complex. Jeruto beat Eva Cherono to second place, with Fancy Cherono settling for third place and former Commonwealth Games champion Mercy Cherono finishing fourth. Simon Letaya from Esmi Club won the men's 10,000 meters final ahead of Hilary Mosop and Abel Mutai. 1,500 meters specialist Nixon Chipseba made a comeback after many years' absence in the track to qualify for Saturday's semi-finals. More action is expected on the second day, with the men's 3,000 meters steeplechase and 5,000 meters attracting a large number of elite athletes. Some mountain conquerors and Kenyan Sam Taylor has successfully got to the summit of the world's highest peak, Mount Everest, following a 2-month expedition to raise money for rangers in the country to protect wildlife from poachers. Taylor reached the summit on Thursday and planted the Kenyan flag. However, his partner Peter Newland had to abandon the climb a couple of days before the final push to the summit due to illness. Taylor is the founder of 4 Rangers, a dedicated group of individuals who are raising money for the welfare of rangers who risk their lives daily to protect Africa's endangered species. Mount Everest reaches an official height of 29,029 feet, and the summit is located in the Himalayas on the international border between China and Nepal. And to some pop talk, a Vatican Hall was turned into a stadium as thousands of football lovers met Pope Francis. More than 5,000 children attended the event called Soccer We Love. During the meeting, attended by former football players, coaches, and former champions, the pontiff underlined the meaning of sports for children. And Pope Francis also took the opportunity
but don't panic. Tomorrow we will be back with more from the Suva edition. Is it Suva?
Yes.
Got it right.
Thank you so much. This is the first of 3 nights here in Narok County. Of course, the last one being at the Masai Mara Game Reserve. But as we leave, the Masai people are known for their singing, their dancing, their jumping as well, and their music. So we just want to give this amazing cultural dance group one last chance to do an amazing dance and jump and everything else in between, all right? Yeah. Twende!
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha